disease. But you don't get to choose your reputation any more than you get to choose your fame. Several years ago, cancer called to me, and I answered, "He-nay-nee." Here I am. The religious language may seem blasphemous, but I don't mean it to be. What I mean is that Hashem places us in our circumstances. And even the most ordinary of persons can discover his unique role in life, his calling. He can help to complete creation if he recognizes and accepts where Hashem has placed him. Eddie Hillesum, a 28-year-old Dutch Jew who voluntarily reported to Westerbork Transit Camp in 1942 to work in the social welfare department there, explained her reasons like this. "This much I know. You have to forget your own worries for the sake of others, for the sake of those whom you love. All the strength and faith in God which one possesses must be there for everyone who chances to cross one's path and who needs it. You must learn to forego all personal desires and to surrender completely. And surrender does not mean giving up the ghost, fading away with grief, but offering what little assistance I can wherever it has pleased God to place me." I was diagnosed just before Sukkot in late September 2007. My doctor phoned just before the holiday to tell me that an opacity had been found on a chest x-ray during a routine physical examination. A biopsy at Methodist Hospital in Houston about 10 days later revealed stage 4 metastatic prostate cancer with a Gleason score of 9, meaning that it would be extremely difficult to treat. I was given 1 to 3 years to live. I hungrily compared myself to other men with the same disease. The literary critic Anatole Broyard got 14 months. The rock musician Dan Fogelberg, 3.5 years. My friend and mentor Dennis Dutton, editor of Philosophy and Literature, 2 years. And so I was vigilant for death, although I never knew when it would come. Naomi and I planned our lives as if the cloud of uncertainty were not hovering above us. We moved to Columbus and joined Torat Emet in August 2010, hoping my cancer would remain dormant. By spring, however, it had awakened from its slumber and begun to spread again. By last fall, the cancer stopped responding to drugs and invaded my bone marrow. I began palliative chemotherapy to improve the quality of my life, and I was taken under the wings of hospice care. It's now just a matter of time. I recite these facts only because Rabbi Zach tells me that many people don't realize just how grave my situation is. The facts are vulgar, and perhaps even a little tedious. This year, some 233,000 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and about 29,500 will die of the disease. Between diagnosis and death, however, many cancer patients linger for a number of years. Naomi points out that the term life-threatening disease is not always appropriate. A lot of patients like me have what should be called a life-limiting disease. That is, for many people, cancer has become a chronic condition. The biblical span of their lives, 70 years, and with strength, 80 years, has been limited. But so too has the scope of their lives, what they can and can't do because of the cancer. Because of my hip, which was destroyed by cancer, I can't play catch or one-on-one basketball. with my 3 sons. I can't pick up Nina. I can't dance with Naomi. Perhaps most unhappily for me, I can't travel anymore. I have never been to the state of Israel. We should all be standing with Israel tonight. I have never been there, and now I never will get to go. But here on the downslope of life-limiting disease, here exactly is where God has placed me and where I can offer a little assistance, since it pleases him to have put me here. I can remember exactly when everything changed for me. It was more than 6 years ago now. We were still living in Houston. I was sitting in a back bedroom, rocking in a rocking chair between cycles of aggressive chemotherapy. And I was struggling to read some hefty book that would have given me no trouble in my precancerous days. The Adventures of Augie March, I think it was. Chemotherapy had left me with chemo brain, a state of mind in which everything is fuzzy and no idea ever why. I couldn't make any sense of Ella's book. I felt so profoundly sorry for myself. I can't think anymore, I moaned. I can't think anymore. And then I stopped rocking. Hey, wait a minute, that's a thought. From then on, I decided if I could no longer think as sharply as I once did, I could still think. If I could no longer play with my boys the way I once did, I could still play with them. If I could no longer remain married to Naomi forever as I once promised, I could still be married to her for as long or as short a time as God gave us together. Since then, I've become something of a public advocate for the view that even a person with terminal cancer, for whom only death seems real, can nevertheless choose life. As I wrote in a recent essay called The Mercy of Sickness Before Death, hope is not what the terminal cancer patient needs. What cancer patients need more than anything is to take responsibility for their disease. From their doctors, from their family and friends, and especially from themselves. They need simple honesty about their condition, their treatment options, their chances. They require exactly what anyone requires if he is to grow as a human creature. The square recognition of being as he is without minimizing or exaggerating. Responsibility, honesty, facing reality. If my oncologist is to be believed, most cancer patients find these very difficult to achieve. Denial, despair. These are the more usual long-term reactions to a diagnosis of terminal cancer. But denial and despair are merely refusals to accept the responsibility of finding, under the sign of death, a new purpose and meaning to life. Denial and despair are rejections of what the great Catholic American writer Flannery O'Connor calls one of God's mercies. In what way, then, can a diagnosis of terminal illness and a long sickness before death possibly be merciful? Some of you know that Naomi's and my brother-in-law, Scott, her younger sister's husband, died last year, just 6 months after being diagnosed with multiple myeloma. By comparison, living for 6.5 years with a slowly wasting disease is a lenient sentence, even if it is a death sentence. But there's more to God's mercy than that. On the same day I was diagnosed with cancer. The same day, Naomi learned that she was pregnant with our fourth child, our only daughter, Mimi. The coincidence was a miracle. Both Naomi and I saw God's hand. It was as if God was saying, I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse, the birth of your daughter and your death from cancer. Now, therefore, choose your daughter. She is my blessing. Choose life. Last Shabbos, my eye was snagged by David's lines from Psalm 30, the shir for the dedication of the Beit HaMikdash, which we recite before Pasukei Zimra. The psalm has long baffled our commentators because nothing within it has anything whatever to do with the Mikdash. Instead, the psalm is David's reflection on life-threatening illness. He cries out to God, Ma b'tza b'dami, beriti el shachat. What profit is there from my death, from my descent into the pit? Hayotcha afar hayagid hamitecha. How can the dust praise you? Can it declare your truth? What do these lines have to do with the Mikdash? The answer is this. For David, the temple represents, and for me, who finds such comforting warmth within it, shul represents an ascent from the pit, a respite from death, the opportunity to praise Hashem and luxuriate in declarations of his truth. What a mercy it is to have that opportunity. It is also the opportunity to prepare oneself for death, to lay back in the love of friends and family, to live in absolute spiritual freedom. This, by the way, is why I get so angry when I am advised to fight my cancer. I am so incensed by obituaries that say that so-and-so has lost his battle against cancer. It's bad enough that the military metaphors imply that those of us who die of cancer have put up a weak and pathetic fight, as if we were sad sacks like the Polish army overrun by the German Wehrmacht in World War II. But what's worse, to seek to fight my cancer is to struggle fruitlessly against physical necessity. There is nothing I can do to fight my cancer. It's going to kill me, and within a few months. To rage against the verdict is a waste of my inner resources. It's another form of denial. But if the language of fight and battle is not the right language, what is? What should people say to a terminal cancer patient? Now, the fromm impulse is to say, refuah shlema. May you have a complete recovery. But this is hardly fitting for someone like me, for whom there is no refuah, no recovery. Not knowing what to say then, many people say nothing at all. Oh, they'll tell themselves that they wish to spare me because they don't want to say the wrong thing. But the truth is they're only sparing themselves. It's a real problem, what to say to the dying. But the problem is not solved by not solving it. What I have found most consoling is the knowledge that my wife and children will be looked after. They won't be left alone, even after I have left them. The best thing anyone has ever said is what Joni Schottenstein said. Don't worry, David. I already have somebody picked out for Naomi. The quiet and firm assurance Joni's husband David gives me that he will be my son's surrogate father whenever they meet him silences my deepest fears. Kenny Steinman and Ray Winger decline the obligation of pulling long faces and being solid. They treat me as if I still have a sense of humor and might still enjoy the human comedy. A friend who was a music critic, hearing that I was too beaten by chemotherapy to do much more than listen to music, recommended the blues singer Jimmy Rushing, who lifts my spirits like Mimi's butterfly kisses. The thing to remember is what Naomi and I have learned from this 6.5-year journey. Life is not a matter of peak experiences, of amazing sights and even more amazing thrills, but of small pleasures. A good meal, a good book, good company, good conversation. Right there is where life needs to take hold of the gravely ill once again. We who are dying need from you exactly what we should be demanding from ourselves: responsibility, honesty, the courage to face reality squarely. It matters less what you say to us than how you talk to us, face to face, as Moses spoke to God. And after all, who knows but that you might be the one, by your kindness and faith, to give us the strength to choose life.